How's it going, guys? Welcome to Audio Addiction. We have Neptune Rain with us today. They can say their names and what they do in the band.
Hey, I'm Kieran. I sing in the band and prance around, and I'm the general diva.
Hi, I'm Rob. I'm the bassist. So I've got a 5-string bass, so I've upgraded from my 4-string status.
Congrats.
Hi, I'm Simon. I play guitar. I'm full 6 strings.
Yeah, Rob's gonna be catching up to you on the strings. Next time I interview him, he's gonna be like, I have 7 strings now on my bass, so I've surpassed Simon.
Just taping them on.
Attach them on the side.
Just tape them. Yeah. There's no neck portion of it. It's just like he has like a loose string here.
I'll just have a massive great heart behind me next.
There we
time.
go. Beautiful. Looking forward to it. Well, huge thanks to Jody. She's the best. Want to give her a shout. She found me out on the Pop Punk Network. So shouts to Jody. Jody is fantastic. So shouts to her. But the first question, guys, is how did you start out Neptune Rain? How did you guys all come together? Because I love a good origin story. So feel free to add as much or as little detail as you guys would like.
Cool. Does anyone want to deal with this, or do you want me to answer?
Yeah, so Elon Musk lent us a rocket. We went to Neptune, right?
Yeah, baby.
These guys were there, not in their human form, so I brought them back, gave them the human suits, and okay, yeah, do you want to deal with this game?
I thought for sure Simon was going to take this and roll. I would have been like super stoked.
Yeah, that'd be great.
You guys would have been my like first like alien like sentient beings, and I would have been down for that.
Anything I say now is going to be so disappointing after.
It will be. Yeah.
It's okay though. I'll still hold you high, and high marks. Yeah.
Yeah. So none of us knew each other before we started the band. We kind of all connected online, which is really cool. So I moved to the area where these boys kind of grew up, and wanted to start a band. Jumped on a musicians kind of forum. Simon was on there, and I thought, hey, this guy sounds kind of cool. Yeah. And then we tried out millions and millions of bassists, and everyone said no, so we were stuck with Rob. I mean, that's not that.
Damn, Rob. They threw you under the bus, Rob.
This is why I've been having to compensate with strings.
Is the attitude? I got you. Listen, I respect that move.
Strings, there is sadness.
Rob's taking the Rob's taking the high ground musically, and he's compensating for the diva aspect,
That's what it is, yeah.
Respect. I gotta give you that. But you guys met online, so like, how was the first like practice? Like, how is like the first meetings of you guys like getting together, and really being like Neptune Rain? Like, I feel like it would be very interesting, because I could only imagine like if I've like kind of similar to this, like where we just like chat online first, and then it's just like, oh, you guys play music, okay, like how do you guys play? And like, did you feel like it was, obviously you guys are together still, so it worked out very well, but like, did you feel like at the time it was like a fluid like band, or did you like guys kind of have to like work at it?
I think the three of us have always been absolutely fine. So Rob joined us a little bit later, because the very first time I met Simon was at a pub with a potential drummer and another guitarist, and just for whatever reasons, like it didn't work out with those guys.
Sure.
So, but I think Rob, Simon, and myself have just always been on the same level. And what's been really, really cool is the last year's been like crazy, right, for everyone around the world.
Yeah.
And we've become such good friends and been such an amazing support network for each other, which is really, really cool.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think like beyond the musical aspect, like I feel like we work really well musically together. Like we've all got quite similar ideas. They're sort of different enough to make it interesting and to kind of cause us to branch out. But at the same time, we kind of often, when someone comes up with an idea, we just instantly go, yes, that was what we're thinking of. Which I think works really well. But also, as Kieran was saying, like on a personal level, I just think like we kind of get each other in other ways as well. And I think that's just sort of really driven us forwards.
Yeah, it's like the core of our personalities are like really similar, but then like our experiences and our like musical tastes kind of like create this big like landscape for our music.
Yeah, it's Venn diagram stuff. It's like we all sort of have that bit in where, I love that analogy. It's so overused, but yeah, it's that kind of thing. Like we all kind of meet in the middle, but we've all kind of got our own personalities, and it just sort of it's weird. It just kind of clicked. Good though.
Yeah.
These two are patient, which is very important when you're working with me.
I wasn't going to say anything, but he said it.
I feel like everyone was like holding back until like Kieran said like, yeah, so like I'm the diva, so like, you know, and then everybody's like, yeah, you kind of are, but like we love you nonetheless, you know, kind of thing. Yeah, I felt a little straight a little bit.
Yeah, no, Kieran's like very much the visionary. Like he's often got the sort of master plan, and then we'll kind of append our ideas to that, and I guess between us we come up with what the Neptune Rain sound is.
No, I was able to check out some of the stuff that Jody sent over, and I was like, man, these guys are very cool. I'd love to have them on the show, and then obviously you guys are on here. You know, it kind of tails into the next question, which is like, who are you guys influenced by? Who kind of got you started out like playing music and wanting to become like a musician, and then who kind of influences you now, and also just like Neptune Rain in general?
Yeah, so I think it's such a huge range of things. Like when we were trying to sort of start the band initially, one of our biggest dilemmas was just pinning down what that was. Because I think as we sort of said before, we're kind of come from different worlds, all influenced by different things.
Mm-hmm.
But we sort of decided quite early on that the one band that we very much had in common was Linkin Park. And that's kind of been a driving force throughout. And our first sort of online cover we did was Shadow of the Day by Linkin Park. So that kind of fitted quite well. And we thought that was quite a good sort of depiction of sort of where we are, but also we got our own sound.
Yeah.
And then sort of other bands would probably say like Bring Me the Horizon would be another one. Quite like sort of Enter Shikari. Bands that are probably doing slightly weird, interesting things, but kind of have a rocky vibe to them. But beyond that, I mean, we've got influences from all over the place. I mean, I'm a big Evanescence fan, so they're sort of my thing.
What?
You can't tell. And Kieran's big into a lot of sort of grime artists like JME, and also quite a lot of sort of pop groups as well. Like 90s pop really influenced him, which I think works really well because you got like the pop and rock together. And then Simon's into a lot more sort of punky stuff. So yeah, all over the place really.
Yeah. When we first connected online, because I wanted to try and sell myself as a musician. Like I wrote a song and kind of produced a demo of it. I kind of thought, this would be kind of cool to do something like this. And I never thought it would get used. But it was what I sent to Simon. It actually became our second single. So it's All Pain No Gain, and it incorporated that like rap and electronics and kind of punky rock guitars and stuff. There was like a ballpark there, wasn't there? And I didn't know where we'd end up, but I think we ended up firmly in that ballpark.
Yeah, it's almost like we tried a few things that were a bit different after that, just to sort of find where our sound was, and then we found that we were just sort of gravitating towards that combination of rap and rock, which again, I guess, kind of full circle with Linkin Park. They were doing a kind of similar thing, so I think that's why they've always been definitely one of our biggest influences.
Yeah, I love them. They're like just my favorite band ever. I think their sound and just what they represented and that connection they had with people all over the world. Just special.
Simon?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, like for me, Linkin Park was like the first rock band I liked. My musical journey is like 90s pop music, Spice Girls, as close as back in the 90s, and then I started watching a channel called Kerrang.
Oh yeah.
And I saw In the End come on by Linkin Park, and I was like, oh, I like this. and then there was like a time when I had 3 bands that I liked: Linkin Park, Red Hot Chili Peppers, and System of a Down. And I only liked them for a time.
Did you still like Spice Girls?
I saw Green Day, and I was like, this is really cool. Like I actually want to like learn the guitar now. Yeah. And from then on, it was just like punk bands and emo bands and metal bands and stuff. Yeah. And now we're here.
I feel like with you guys, like I said, I've been able to check out the stuff. I did check out that Linkin Park cover, which was fantastic, guys. You should go check it out. But I was like, they have to be influenced by Linkin Park. Like I always have this like game in my head where I have to like, I want to say guess, but like I like to have a pretty good well-rounded brain to be like, oh, I know what type of bands you're influenced by, and if I'm close, then I feel like, yeah, that's awesome. If I'm not close, then I'm like, what happened? Why did I not guess this? This seems a little bit, out of this realm, which is totally fine. But I did guess, I knew for a fact, I was like 100% if they didn't say Linkin Park, I'd be very floored by them saying that they weren't influenced by Linkin Park. But yeah, no, I feel like your fusion of like rap, rock, and just like a little bit of punk in there too, I think is just like, I think you guys like, I want to say you're like 100% Linkin Park, but it definitely feels that vibe. But like you guys have your own sound, and like, Kieran's vocals sound different from Chester's, so like it does have that like separation in that aspect. And like I know you pull from like Bring Me the Horizon from what I could hear as well, and it definitely has like kind of like a mix between anything from like pop to like what Linkin Park was doing, which was like rap, rock. They had a little bit of punk, especially earlier on in their career. So I feel like you guys kind of run the gambit of all those things. So people who like any of those bands we mentioned, and like you guys mentioned, I feel like you're gonna love this band for sure, because they definitely take a lot of those aspects musically and just kind of like make it their own, which is like the whole reason why any band does what they do, is to not specifically copycat another band. So I got to give you guys credit for kind of like riding the line of like paying homage to those bands, but also like carving your own path and like really doing something that I feel like not a lot of musicians are doing currently. So
yeah, I mean we've had that quite a lot actually, just sort of people saying that it feels sort of different but familiar, if that makes sense. Like we've had a lot of people saying it kind of reminds them of something from like the early 2000s, but they're not sure what it is. It's that kind of throwback feel. So yeah, that's quite interesting that you said that.
Yeah, it's like this. I feel like for me, because I'm like 28, so like it's nostalgic for me. Like I was like, oh shit, I remember when I was like growing up and listening to Linkin Park and all that sort of stuff, and it gives me that same like teenage, like young teen vibes of like, wow, I was listening to this like angsty stuff when I was like a kid, and then to see it like, I don't want to say like make a resurgence, but like it's cool to see that like bands still take influence from Linkin Park, like especially like older, like in that realm of Linkin Park, and still are influenced by them. And I feel like they're one of those bands of the past couple decades that has just been monumental for like a lot of bands in the like alternative scene, so I gotta give you guys credit for like paying enough respect to them, but also like knowing like we need to like make Neptune Rain,
Yeah.
But the next question, guys, for people who aren't familiar with your band and are like, I like these guys a lot so much like right now, and I want to know more about them, what new song or any song of yours in your catalog that you would recommend to new listeners, people that are watching this interview and are like, I want to hear from the band direct, like what song they would recommend to listen to first?
So on Friday the 9th of April, our brand new single We Breathe the Same came out, and it's a song we've had for a while, and we've been dying to release it, so we're delighted that it's finally out. I think people can expect that kind of big guitars and big drum sound, and a little element of rap and electronics in there, and it's about kind of reflecting on humanity and the destructive side of humanity. And wherever we look in the world at the moment, it seems that there's so much hate and so much division, and even when people are on the same side, they seem to get into arguments and there's infighting. And it's crazy and it's so frustrating. And it's just about recognizing that as humans, we have so much more in common than we do things that divide us. And maybe we can all be a little bit kinder and aim for a bit more unity, then the world will be a much better place, hopefully.
Yeah.
And it sounds like naive maybe, but I don't know. I've never given up hope on that.
I feel that. Simon?
Go on, yeah.
Yeah, like, I think it's crazy, like, that we managed to get like 1,000 plays on that song on the first day. Like we were really pushing. And like we have such like a supportive community around us, like considering we haven't like played a gig to get 1,000 plays in a day. It's just crazy. Like, couldn't have imagined get that. Well,
Yeah.
at this point so soon, I guess. Yeah.
I think it's maybe like it might even tap into that sort of call to unity that you can hear in the song as well. It's that whole sort of idea of, I think because we've been in lockdown, we've had to sort of form a community online, and it's been a sort of unorthodox way of doing it. But I know a lot of bands been in the same situation, and I feel like they'd probably agree as well. But a lot of our fans are very much kind of in the same vibe of, you know, we're on the same level as them. They'll kind of help us out, we'll help them out, and we're all kind of going through life together. And I think that probably the lyrics in We Read the Same in particular very much calls to that kind of feeling of community and just sort of working together for a better world. And that's probably what a lot of people who are just sort of sat at home and lonely right now kind of need to hear.
No, I agree. That was like one of, because I listened to that one as well, and I was like, this is great, because like I feel like it kind of plays off of what I do here, which is like I'm trying to build a community of people that like find out about these bands that like they may have never heard of, and that like people like want to find out more about music. I feel like I would say over the past year, I think there's just been a lot of people that are trying to search for new artists just because maybe they haven't had time to, just because like job, or like they just happen to find someone like show up on their Spotify and they're like, oh, I've never heard of this band, but like let me go give them a listen. And I think a lot of people are more receptive and a lot more like trying to find out and learn about like new artists and stuff. And it's good to hear. Obviously it's good for me because like now it's a little bit more easier access to find out about bands. Like, not that it wasn't harder before, because like every band is out there doing something at any given point in time, and I don't think I would live enough years on this earth to be able to cover all of them. But it's cool that you guys said like that you're building a community and that you got 1,000 streams in the first day. That's like amazing for like a band that I personally haven't heard of up until like a couple of days ago. And you know, it just shows the power of people like coming behind music, and like how important it is for like, hopefully, you know, once this is all over with, fingers crossed, you know, once we'll be able to be out and doing shows and stuff, and you know, hopefully those people that have supported you with this, that live in the UK where you guys reside, like that will be able to show up and like show support. And I know that I'll try to do whatever I can here in the States to try to push you guys too. But like, you know, it's interesting, and I feel like for me it's always been a pleasure to like, you know, do this for as long as I've been doing it for, and just to like help bands out when they need to. And so I felt like kind of a kinship to this record, or this song specifically, just because like I've been doing it for 5 years. So like, you know, I've just been trying to find local bands that have just been working it, you know. And so shout outs to you guys for, you know, putting a song out that is like really about the community, you know, backing you up. And you know, hopefully people could go check this out and get the same sort of like vision that I got, pretty much.
Yeah, and I think that's where it does feel to me like, certainly like grassroots, that's a lot of how the music industry is, and it's really, really humbling just sort of doing this. And honestly, like, kudos to you for doing this as well, because I just love how so many bands since we just started have been really supportive, and you've got sort of people doing interviews and helping each other out, and it's just such a great community to be a part of, I think. And I know it's not always necessarily like that in the music industry, but sort of our experience so far has been brilliant. And yeah, just thankful for everyone who gives us airplay and just takes the time to talk to us. And yeah, it's just really cool.
Brandon, have you found, I'm flipping the roles now, have you found a difference in the kind of interviews you've done over the last year compared to the pre-COVID sort of era?
I kind of do. Like, I've always been the type of person that has gone out of their way to go look for stuff. So like for me, the day-to-day really hasn't changed. I probably have gotten more of an influx of emails than I've gotten in a little while, obviously. But I mean, I just try to, whenever I can fit them in, I just try to do it, because I know at the end of the day, like, especially for this interview and any other interview that I've done, like, I keep the same energy of that, like, people come here, like, I don't make money doing this. Like, I'd love to be making money doing this, and like, I'm sure very much the same to you guys, but like that's not the current times we're in now. And so like my whole thing is like, if I can have people check this interview out and be like, I really love that Neptune Rain is like these down there British guys that I've never met in my entire life, and I've just only known this interview, and I'm so stoked on like what they're doing that they would go to like your page or follow you on social media or go like buy the song or like buy merch or something like that. Like that means more to me that they're supporting you or any band that I have on than for me to make any sort of money doing this. Like as much as I'd like to be making money to do this and like provide for me, at the end of the day, like I'm okay, and it's more about getting bands out here that I feel like deserve the attention, deserve the love. And like I said, it's not, I don't think I'm going to be able to get through every band that has ever been making content up until this point out on this channel, but I'm going to damn well try to get as many as I can. So that's kind of my vibe, and I probably won't ever stop. And obviously, I want to be able to push you guys because this is your interview, because you're on here. So but yeah, no, I feel like it really hasn't changed for me. It's just more so like, just I feel like there's more bands out there that like are really kind of like digging into it because we're in lockdown. Like what else are you gonna do? You can't go out and play a show, so like they got to build up the PR and like the interviews and like recording new music and stuff like that. Have you guys kind of spent the time to like work on new stuff and like work on a lot more material? And do you feel like if this didn't exist, like do you feel like you guys would have gotten out the quality like content, like music, stuff like that otherwise?
Yeah, so we recorded the first two songs of our EP sort of February, March last year,
Okay.
which were our first two singles, and there were two more we wanted to record, but whilst we were kind of editing those, lockdown happened, and we were thinking, we'd start gigging around May and release the music, and obviously end of March we were like, okay, we need to rethink this a little bit.
Yeah.
And then,
I felt the same way, so I'll be yeah.
It's an understatement of the year. Like.
Yeah, when I say rethink this a little bit, I mean like there's no way then we would have thought next April we'd still be here with the internet as our only kind of outlet. But what it kind of enabled us to do was connect to people and build an audience before we released any music, because our plan was just to release the first single, and we would have been releasing it to absolutely nobody. But so for sort of 10 to 12 weeks, we did like a different cover every week, and just started to build up our online presence, and it was really cool. And then by the time we released the first single, people cared, and that was amazing.
Yeah,
it was such a hard, those first few months, I think last year were just so difficult. It was just such an alien world we were living in. And then we managed to finish the EP recording in between the first two British lockdowns, which was cool. Yeah, I don't know if you guys want to elaborate on any more of the journey from there.
Yeah, I mean that was essentially how it went. Was we were quite lucky in some ways in that we were able to just do bits and pieces, and we were kind of preempting when a lockdown would end and another one would start. But I mean, We Breathe the Same, the single that we released recently, was actually probably one of our hardest to do, because we really didn't have a break from the lockdown. Like we've been locked down since sort of end of December over here. So we found ourselves in a situation where we wanted to release a single just to kind of keep momentum going after the EP.
Sure,
and it was tough because essentially what we had to do was record our separate parts from home, put them together, and obviously we had little things that you think about that you wouldn't think about otherwise, which is just making sure all the interfaces match up. And I was recording, because I sort of work around the country as part of my job, so I was in hotel rooms like recording my bass parts and stuff like that.
Cool.
So so it's been an experience.
I'm sure it makes you like appreciate when things will be back to normal and stuff. And like obviously I feel like your journey initially is kind of reminiscent of when I first started the channel like 5 years ago, and like I was just like, I just wanted to start a YouTube channel where I talk about like bands and like have, you know, people come on and all that sort of stuff. And I just remember like my first videos were like to no one, like no, like I posted them on YouTube and I was just like, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, you know, I'll close it out in a year and say that like I tried, and that's it, you know. And I got pretty close to being like, I don't want to do this anymore. But like for some reason, like my brain was like, you got to keep doing this, like, you know, you got to put your heart into it, and you got to really know that people are out there that, you know, it might be a little bit harder to attain, but like people are going to come if they enjoy your content. And, you know, obviously I'm still here. I've been doing it for like, you know, another 4 years on top of that year. And, you know, I think it's tough. Like I always think about, that's why I always think about bands like yours and like any bands that are like starting out that I have on the channel. Is just like, I know how hard it is to start out to like absolutely no one. And so for me, it's like, not that I'm like being prideful or anything, but like for me, it's like, it's cool to see like people out there like just doing it, you know what I mean? Like have no audience, just trying to like build what they have on the internet or like build what they have in person and to just try to grow it. And so, you know, I feel like I said earlier, it's like I feel I don't want to say responsible, but I feel like a certain like camaraderie with people that are trying to do like that sort of stuff. Yeah, so like that, again, I gotta give you guys kudos for that, because it takes a lot of balls to just like want to do that and like to like pretty much put it out to no one until like you start building an audience and stuff. So, you know, keep going on. If you feel like you didn't want to continue doing it, just like keep pushing and doing it, man. Like because you guys deserve it for sure.
Yeah, they always say as well, like that moment when you just feel like giving up, that's if you can push through that, that's usually when things start getting better, just after that point. And that's the sort of make or break moment, I think, with anything really.
100%.
So determined to make this a success. I've just always been like, I don't care what the world throws at us, we're going to adapt and just keep going and keep showing up and be creative about how we do that. And you kind of asked about, did that strategy kind of change? And I think there's no way this time last year that we thought we would be probably so active on social media, because so much of our time would be spent actually kind of
getting the show going.
But it's been really cool, and we just have so many lovely people on our socials and stuff, and it's been like a real motivating force.
100%.
And it makes you feel like it's worth it, all the effort and the long nights and the long hours. It just it's really
they'll keep you in check. I can tell you very much from firsthand knowledge. They will, if they will let you know if you are not, like, if you're not putting out stuff, like you'll get a DM from somebody that's like really likes your content, and they'll be like, yo, where's the content at? I need to know where. Like they'll be if they could, they would be at your doorstep. You know what I mean? Like that. And so like it is important, and I feel like I feel the same way about what I do. Like I know people are out there that like are gonna find this interview and be like really motivated, or they're gonna be like, or another thing, they're just gonna be like, oh, I really love Neptune Rain and you know what they're pushing for and stuff like that, and you know that's just as good. So you know respect to you guys to continue doing this, especially in COVID, man. I can't even put it into words, I'm sure. But the next question, guys, keeping it positive, keeping it moving. Who have you guys been jamming recently? What's on your Spotify? What have you guys been listening to lately?
Well, sort of most recently, I think for most of us, actually, this is a band that we've been watching quite keenly, because we kind of feel they're sort of doing a similar thing to us, but a sort of bit further on down the line. It's a band called Caskets. They're formerly Captives.
They're fantastic.
Their name recently. That's a story and a half. But we really like their sound, and just their energy, and just like the amount of work they put in is quite inspiring. So they've definitely been one we've been following.
I think it's really nice. And I think it's also important to kind of just keep an eye on the UK scene whilst it's not actually out live, to kind of see like who the cool bands are and who's actually really doing really awesome things. And so Caskets. It's really hard to start calling them Caskets now, but
I agree. Yeah, it is hard.
There'll always be Captives in here. And Holding Absence are another one as well.
I love Holding Absence. Fantastic.
Yeah, I think their new album comes out on Friday. I think. I'm really looking forward
Yeah.
to it. And there's another band who are they're probably like halfway between us and those guys in terms of their level of sort of, I don't know, like success, called Led by Lanterns, and they've got
Yeah.
this, Led by Lanterns as well.
I
They've
know
got,
them. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, great band
yeah,
too.
what I forget what their Instagram sort of bio says, but it's something about like pop vocals over metal riffs or
Yeah,
something.
it was something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like similar kind of vibe to us, I think.
Yeah. Biggest stuff. I've been listening to the new Architects album quite a lot recently as well, which is sick. It went to like #1 in loads of places, I think. Didn't
Yeah,
it?
it's pretty mental. Yeah, I think it was like #1 in the UK. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it quite possibly could have been. I'm so useless keeping up to date. Do you know, on Friday when we were promoting the new release, and we were desperately trying to get it to 1,000. I had this moment of like despair during the day when I see an Architects post saying, "Oh, Animals have just hit 20 million." I was like, "Oh."
But you're also like, they're architects. They've been doing it.
They
They've been
architects,
grinding out for a while, so they well deserved, you know.
Yeah.
I always forget just how popular they are as well, because I think because I was vaguely following them when they were a bit smaller, I always think of them as quite a sort of indie, like underground band, but
Yeah.
they really are huge now. Like pretty much wherever you look,
I think they're pretty massive. Yeah, I think they're
Mm.
pretty massive here in the States, if I'm not mistaken, too. So,
Yeah.
you know, like they're I feel like they're a household name if you know, are into like the metalcore genre, you know, like people know about them, you know. So,
Yeah.
Simon, you got any?
Well, the song that came to mind when you asked the question was Typhoons by Royal Blood. That's the song I feel like I had on repeat recently. I don't know. I recently discovered the band. I don't know how, but they found me.
Oh, nice. Yes.
Yeah, they're really cool.
heard them.
Literally in the last day, like a single, and then Spotify like suggested a couple of different songs, and then they came on. I was like, what?
I love it when that happens.
Recently, because I kept pinging you guys loads of their songs, was Fever 333.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And I think because they've kind of got that Linkin Park kind of vibe going on as well, or it's like Linkin Park meets Rage Against the Machine. I think.
Yeah,
Pretty much. Yeah.
That's a good description. Yeah.
That's a good combination as well.
Yeah, like rebel against the system kind of rock. I was like, yes, I am loving this.
Yeah, he's got the guy who fronts their band, Jason. He used to be in another band that I loved called Let Live. They're like a post-hardcore, like insane band. Like I got to see them one time before they disbanded, and it's a show I'll never forget. It was just so insane. It like, I tell the story all the time here on the channel, so I'll tell it one more time, and hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll be the last time. But it probably won't be, so I'll continue to tell it. But I remember seeing them at a local venue here in the States, and it was like their last song, and I remember them picking up a bass cab, like a tall bass cab, and I don't know if they unplugged it or whatever, but they threw it out into the crowd, and they were like, when that cymbal hits, I'm going to run off the stage and jump onto that bass cab, and you guys are gonna carry me. And I was like, I think it was like when I first had the like kind of I was first getting into this type of music, and I was like, what? Like I've never, like I was freaking out. And he was like, 1, 2, 3, and he jumped off the stage. The band continues to play, and he's like got the like mic, and he's like screaming, and the chord is like going off the stage, and like everybody's trying to manage everything. There's like a pit going on. It was like the most incredible show I've ever seen in my entire life. So that one always, I feel like that might hold spot #1 of like one of the favorite shows I've been to. But like just throwing the literal bass cab off the stage and into the crowd. And I've seen like other stories where he's like, I don't know if he's like eaten like a light bulb or something, but like there was something with like a light bulb, and he was like, you could see like blood running from like either his head, I forget what it was, but this dude's nuts. He is like probably one of the best people you want to see live ever. I will hands down say whatever project he's in, he is the most insane person you've ever met, but he is like genuinely one of the nicest guys I've also ever met. I've seen him at like the end of shows, told him I was like, I was like getting into this music and I saw you guys, and now I'm like forever beholden to like post-hardcore, metalcore, all that sort of stuff. And he's like, oh, thanks so much, man. I hope you guys had a good time. And I was just like, when you went off that stage and jumped into that bass cap, I knew that was for me. Like, I knew this was the genre I need to be in. And boy, that was such a wild show. So hopefully the Fever 333 will be over into the UK. I'm pretty sure they have been, but they'll be back. I'm almost positive.
Yeah. Go on, T, go on.
How are we going to top that then?
You can. Listen, man.
You know what I think of? That level of craziness. So the county we're from in the UK, Gloucestershire, is kind of famous for something known as cheese rolling.
Oh my! We're not.
Oh yes.
You have to explain this, Kieran. I need to know what this is.
So basically, like at the top of a really muddy, slippery hill,
Steep hill.
really steep, like hundreds and hundreds of people go to watch this event. Someone drops a big round cheese at the top of it and lets it roll down.
I think I've seen this.
Yeah.
Everyone runs down the hill chasing it.
Yes, that's what. Oh my!
Flying down the hill, tumbling and breaking bones and stuff, and it's just absolutely bonkers.
apparently, it's not legal now. It's like unofficial. They can't say anyone's organizing it, but everyone just shows up.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So
No,
yeah,
they can't ban it. It's our county sport. they can't ban it.
Bunch of letters going down a hill.
when I first moved here, like I thought it was everyone had like a cheese that they rolled, and like the first one to the bottom one, and I was like, that sounds really boring. And someone was like, no, you haven't seen a video.
You have no idea.
So, yeah. So I don't think I'll take part in it, but I definitely want to watch.
That's how I felt with the show. I was like in the very back, and I was just like, I was just standing there like holding myself. I was like, oh god, I'm like, is this pit gonna blow up? And then like, it was just wild. That was like, again, one of my favorite show experiences of all time. Easily. If some band could beat it, I feel like I'd probably have like a cardiac arrest or something. You know, like it'd be too much shit going on that I would be very worried for myself. But yeah, no, I love the bands you guys are talking about. I'm glad you guys are like UK, like, you know, UK bands are the shit. I think they're great. I love internet. I want to be a little bit biased. I love international bands. I feel like a little low key, they're a little bit better than American bands. If I'm gonna be honest, there are obviously certain bands like within the gray area, but like I don't know. I feel like anything that isn't American bands, just I don't know, they just think on a different wavelength, and I like listen to their stuff and I'm like, this is so cool, so unique. And then like years later, then a band from the States will do the same thing, and I'm like I heard this before already, like, you know. And then the UK bands like already like they're doing like some like cyberpunk like mental shit, you know. And then I'm like, that makes sense, you know. They're just so far. I feel like international bands, just mental capacity is just further than, you know, further expansive than like, I don't know, our music, I guess. And that's not to talk shit about American music. It's great.
It could just be the fact that, because like we get plenty of bands like that in the UK as well, and I guess it's maybe because we are sort of overseas, you're maybe seeing more of the more interested bands from overseas, whereas like in the US you're probably seeing those bands, but you're also seeing all of the others as well. It's like you always hear the classic thing of people always say, oh, music was always better back in like the 80s and the 70s and stuff like that. But there's a lot of rubbish music as well. It's just that's been forgotten about. Like you remember like the Queen, the band, and like sort of AC/DC and Guns N' Roses and stuff, because they were good and they sort of stayed on. Whereas like all the crappy bands that people have forgotten about. So it could be that. I don't know.
I mean, that's fair. Like the strong whittle out the weak. So I feel like that's like kind of the mentality that I feel like with most artists. Like, again, there's some bands that are of relative obscurity that make some really weird shit, but they're also like, I feel like they're the most advanced in terms of like what they create and stuff. So it's always interesting. I always keep an eye on the UK scene because they got some hot shit. So gotta give them some props. But the next question, guys, is a fun one. I know you talked about covers earlier, but if there was another one you could add to your arsenal, or ones that you've been thinking about doing, which ones would you consider adding to the arsenal?
So we just performed one, didn't we, for the first time, that we're kind of thinking, oh, should we should we take it further? And it's Missing by Everything But the Girl. I don't know if that song.
Okay.
Do you know it?
I do know that song. Yeah.
Was it ever big in the States?
I don't think so. I don't know. I'm a very obscure person, so I listen to the weird stuff. So I mean, I know what you're talking about, but I can imagine most people that are watching this thus far probably are like, how do you know this? You know, so
yeah, and like I don't really know the story of the song, but when you look it up on Spotify, there's like quite a few versions, and I think the original song I don't think did very well in like the 90s, and then it was kind of remixed into a bit more of a kind of a dance kind of track. And there was something about it that I always thought, you know what, I think that would work with a little bit of the Neptune Rain kind of touch on it. And then last year, before we ever had our first radio play, it was a song that was played just before us.
Oh, wow. Very cool.
Like, oh, that's really cool. And so we did our sort of first online festival last weekend, and we prepared a version for that, and it's really cool. So that will be up on our socials and stuff at some point. And it is on Voice FM, who hosted the festival. It's on their site. So and Jodie works for them as well. So your listeners are like, who's Jodie? Yeah, but boys, what else do you think we could cover?
I don't know. That's really. I think that's the thing as well. It's always quite difficult for us because we will pretty much cover anything. Like we don't tend to put genre boundaries on what we cover. We just like rocking up, doing the whole classic like punk goes pop thing and pop goes punk. Like we'd definitely sort of take on anything that we just like the sound of, regardless of where it sort of comes from. So I don't know. That's tough.
Simon, you were singing "Here Come the Hot Stepper" just before we did the interview.
Yeah, I don't know what the words are, but up the top, then murder.
Let's do it. You heard it here first.
Work in an English accent, that song. Lyrical gangster, murderer.
You got a license for that?
Yeah.
It was so similar to the original, like.
Oh boy. Oh man. Well, we'll let the comment section decide. Guys, if you love Neptune Rain or you're a new fan and you're like, man, I'd love to hear him cover this song, drop them in the comments. I'm sure they'll check them out. Like they said, they'll do pretty much anything. So within reason, I just want to clarification, within reason. So go drop a comment below. Drop them in the comments below. Let them know what you would like to hear from them. So, but the next question, guys, another fun one. Favorite food to eat? What's your go-to?
Oh,
I'm vegan, so I love grass and lettuce.
I love how he just got in there quick before we started doing the lettuce jokes.
You could have roasted him real hard, like a piece of lettuce, or
I'll roast myself,
a vegetable.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I'm just ruining your continuity by turning the light on because the sun's going down.
I don't know. Go to. Well, I guess kind of going on the vegan theme, because I only recently found out because of Kieran that Skittles, I don't know if you have them in the US, they're like some like sweet,
Skittles,
sort of like M&Ms.
Yeah. We have Skittles here. Yeah.
Oh, you do? Oh, that's cool.
Yes.
Yes, probably them because they're amazing.
They're delicious.
Breakfast, lunch, dinner, just nothing.
Just Skittles.
Just every meal. Nice and nutritious, that.
Oh, delicious, yeah.
No, I start my day healthy. I'm like, nice bit of muesli and fruit, and then where it goes from there is a little. Normally, like I've got a very unhealthy relationship with the like Just Eat and Deliveroo and all the apps that you can just get takeaways on. Chinese.
Yeah. For me, probably like Japanese food, like some proper good sushi.
Oh,
always.
Yeah.
Always like a experience, just putting it in your mouth and just be like, oh yeah.
I'm hungry.
Yes.
I'm hungry now.
I haven't eaten anything yet, so I'm like, like, you know, because I jump from interview to interview, so I'm like, and I have one after yours, so then I'm gonna probably not eat for a little bit. But
You need to set up a conveyor. So you
I know
just
I
get, like,
should.
stuff
I should
ordered
just
in
have
and
like
then,
a table. I should just have a table set next to my computer for like, you know,
Yeah.
food.
Do you have Yo Sushi in the States?
We do have sushi, yeah.
But like, there's a chain over here called Yo Sushi,
Okay.
and maybe it is a Japanese style of eating, but there is a conveyor belt all around the store, and it just keeps bringing different dishes past you, and you can just help yourself.
I think so. I'm not really. I haven't been to one personally, but I imagine there's probably some here in the States. But man, we go to like, I don't know if it's just an American thing, but they have like all you can eat sushi for like a certain price, and you can just buy, and they're just like, you just need to fill your plate up and finish it. And if you finish it, then you get that price. If not, we janking the price up really high, so then you have to like pay for the waste, basically, like that you don't eat, which makes sense, you know. But yeah, I haven't heard anything about the conveyor belt one, but I have heard of it, and I'd love to. Like, I feel like that I would die to go to heaven to have that in my life, you know.
It's awesome.
But if you guys love Neptune Rain and you love Skittles, make sure to just at them on Twitter. Then, you know, get the boys a Skittles sponsorship. I don't know how that happens, but
Skittles, if you're watching.
They show up and there's just like boxes of Skittles like out from inside your practice space. I'm like,
do that.
Hey, listen, I'm just trying to help out the people here, you know, help you guys out, get the sponsorship you deserve, which is Skittles. But anyway, taste the rainbow, guys. Let's get it. Next question, guys. If you were to have a musical guest on your next record, as well as a dream producer you'd like to work with, who would be on your team and why?
Oh, I feel like we'd end up having a fight about this. So many people. Oh yeah, I'd say Amy Lee. Like that's just a given.
She did that Bring Me the Horizon feature, so I feel like it's not. I feel like it's not out of the question. You know, she's back in the music spotlight. You know,
she loves doing different things. I reckon she'd probably be up for it.
Yeah,
Amy Lee.
What about you guys?
Growing up, I wanted like Jay-Z, like collaborate with Jay-Z. Like, just I used to have dreams that I'd be at kind of like meetings and stuff, and he'd be there, and I'd just be like pestering him, like, listen to my music. It's like so weird, like. Yeah, that'd
be cool.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
Yeah, I was like thinking, who would like work with us? Because I could think of musicians that I'm like, that they probably wouldn't work with our sound, but probably like Matt Bellamy from Muse.
Ooh,
that'd be amazing.
Awesome. Like I can imagine the song we'd make with him, and it'd be like, oh my god, that needs to happen.
That would work really well. Matt Bellamy, if you're watching.
Yeah.
Matt Bellamy.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Come on, let's get it going. Muse, Neptune Rain, collaboration. Let's go. Twitter, you know what to do. I'm not gonna. I don't have to explain it. You already know what's going on. We'll just get Amy Lee in on that, and Jay-Z. Jay-Z did that Linkin Park like collaboration. So listen, he knows the vibes. So let's go. Let's get it, guys. Come on, Twitter. Let's do it.
If we get all of those guys, I feel like I don't have a job anymore. Like, have them one at a time.
I don't know. You could do it. You're Neptune Rain, like, you know. So come on.
You're just playing keys in the background.
Yeah. Oh boy. We can't subjugate Kieran to the keys. I would be very upset, honestly. I'd be like, man, I really tried, Kieran. But anyway, guys, my next question is one of my personal favorites. I'm a nerd, so I love asking it. If you could be a video game character, who would you be?
That's tough. I was about to say Crash Bandicoot, but I feel like that'd be a little bit intense for me. Like that he goes into such difficult situations. Yeah, like he's pretty cool and badass, but you're just constantly running away from boulders and stuff. So.
That's accurate.
I'd probably say like Ash Ketchum.
Oh my god!
That would be, imagine living in that world. That'd be so cool.
That's the dream.
Yes, Pikachu.
Pikachu.
I think that's it. Other than that, I have this, which is my Dialga from
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's
So
cool.
I don't think I'd want to be her, but like Tomb Raider was always my game, and I loved the adventures that Lara had, and I'm like, I just want to be in that world and having those adventures and stuff. Not necessarily killing all those people and animals and stuff that she kills, but just find all that stuff, and it's just it's really cool. Yeah, maybe I could just hang out with her. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be too bad.
Kieran's Tomb Raider's partner, Lara Croft's partner.
Yeah, I'll be in.
She's like, Kieran's like, here's your gun, Laura. Here you go.
Yeah. She could do all like the difficult things, like jumping from ropes and stuff. It's just like, oh, just make me a ladder. I'll I'll follow on behind.
Don't eat the animal you've just killed. Have some lettuce.
You like the little angel on her shoulder.
Yeah.
You got, like the devil and the angel. It's just like, don't kill that animal.
And then meanwhile, it's like she's like, what do I eat now? You know, and he's like, lettuce, a tree, you know, some grass off the ground.
I should have left you back home.
You're not helping me out at all. You know.
I'd love to see this in film format.
If someone can listen, if someone can animate this part of the interview, I would
Please.
listen.
That'd be amazing.
I'd be completely indebted to you. That would be great. I've always wanted to be in one of those like dumb compilation like funny videos like where they like animate it and stuff. That's what we need, guys. If you're an animator, hit
You know
me
what
up.
We're just gonna get my face on Lara Croft's like beautiful.
That's even better. Love it. Great. Do it,
We're
guys.
going like old school Tomb Raider with like the triangle.
Yeah, the box. Yeah, like the box. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, great. This is going to be wonderful. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Internet. Love you guys. Next question, guys. If you were to compile a dream tour lineup, who would be on it? Obviously, your band's on it. I just feel like, you know, that was something important information, you know.
Having a dream lineup each or a combined dream lineup?
I think you should do each. That would be interesting. Unless you guys kind of will answer in the same lane, I feel like a little bit. So who knows? Whatever. You could
I think there'll be one band maybe in common, but
yeah, I think that's how it's going to go. Yeah.
I would go Linkin Park. Obviously, no surprises to anybody. I would have Justin Timberlake.
What?
One of my yeah, man. Like, just think he's so cool.
He is cool.
Yeah, I don't know who's putting this tour on, but
yeah. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Lara Croft? No.
You're like the three-dimensional, like, you know, polygon self shows up on the stage. Yeah.
And I would probably have Coldplay as well. Controversial because there's so much hate for Coldplay in the world, and I don't know why. I just think they got so many amazing anthems and so much positivity. But I saw them when I was quite young, and I just loved the scale of their performances and how diverse the audiences were. Because I used to go to like pop punk and emo kids, and we were just all the same age in the same T-shirt with the same hair. And at Coldplay, it was just so diverse, and I'm just like, I appeal to that level of diversity, you know? So yeah, that's mine.
That's cool. Shall I go next?
Yes.
It's tough actually, because I was just thinking like I could just pick like some of my favorite bands, but then part of me is like I kind of want us to kind of fit in with that lineup and it not be too like disjointed. I mean, I'd obviously choose Evanescence because me.
Got to. It's a given.
That's a given. I'll probably do Linkin Park as well. Like if we're allowed to bring Chester back, that'd be great. And then, might go a bit sort of left field. Iron Maiden. I feel like they'd be able to close the show pretty well. That would be quite cool.
I dig that one. I dig that. Simon?
I don't know which way to go with it, to be honest. I'm tempted to just pick three bands that I like.
Do it.
Which would be Muse, My Chemical Romance, Mastodon.
That would be so good.
It's like a general kind of thing that we fit into there.
Yeah, your two lineups actually sound like they might work. I don't think mine's never happening.
Yours could happen.
Jay-Z and Girls Aloud, they did the same gig, and that was bonkers.
Did they?
It does happen. Yeah, it's the right venue, right sort of festival or whatever. It can happen. So
Oh, at a festival, anything could happen.
yeah,
And enough
Like-
money.
true. Yeah.
So, guys, if you'd like to see these tours in insert year, make sure they happen. Because, listen, I you don't want to upset me, and surely you don't want to upset Neptune Rain. So, like, let's get on it. Let's skyrocket their popularity. And listen, I'm not saying you should do it, but like, you should maybe do it. Yeah, you probably are going to do it. So let's make it happen. Next question, guys. Favorite TV show, favorite movie?
Favorite movie is Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
That's a good one.
Currently, my favorite TV show is probably Taskmaster, which is a show in Britain where they get 5 comedians to do just random tasks, and it's amazing.
That sounds great.
You have to watch it to appreciate how good it is.
Yeah, that's a great shout, man. Rob, have you got answers?
I'm struggling, to be honest. I think TV show, I just kind of have to go for what I'm watching at the moment, which is an Amazon series, Amazon Prime. I think a lot of people have heard of it, called Vikings.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's really good. Like, I wasn't sure what to expect. I'm quite into my sort of history. So I was kind of going into it with a little bit of a history brain on, but it's really entertaining, but it's actually quite kind of realistic as well. So that's good fun. And for the film, that's hard. I'm kind of going to go Inception, just because it was quite sort of clever and interesting when it came out. I'll probably change my mind later, but yeah, let's go for Inception. That's a good one.
That was my answer.
Was it? That's amazing.
Yeah.
And I don't feel bad either. That's the best bit.
Like, honestly, yeah, like Inception is just hands down my favorite film, and just everything about it, man. The cinematography and the soundtrack, Hans Zimmer's music is just beautiful. Yeah, it's amazing. I could just walk around listening to like that soundtrack on repeat. I'd feel very dramatic wherever I went, but it's just so.
He's fantastic.
Expecting the tower blocks and stuff to just fold up next year.
Yeah, so sick. It's just amazing. TV shows. So I think like I'm a massive fantasy geek. So I love Game of Thrones. But Amazon are making 2 things that I'm so excited about, and they're making a Lord of the Rings kind of prequel series, which could just be incredible with the amount of money they have. And they're also making a series of The Wheel of Time, which is, it just has the potential to be the best thing ever on TV. But I'm such a geek, I'm going to say that. But yeah, but I'm reading the books at the moment, and I love it. So I'm really hoping that they surpass Game of Thrones, because I love Game of Thrones.
Very cool, very cool. Like the suggestions. I wish I could watch some of the UK shows, especially Taskmaster. That sounds like a banger. Sounds great. But the next question, guys, if you were trapped on a desert island for the next month and there was one record you could bring with you to listen to, what record would it be?
Hybrid Theory.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
For me, it would have to be Evanescence's most recent record, mostly because I haven't listened to it enough for me to get bored of it yet, but also because it's incredible. It's called The Bitter Truth, and it's so good.
Okay.
Probably 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge. Like romance. Has to be that one.
That's a vibe. I mean, I feel like I'm slightly biased because, again, emo kid at heart. Like, I grew up listening to that stuff, but I also found out that My Chemical Romance is from New Jersey, where I live. So it's very cool.
Oh, really?
They like grew up like in my backyard. So very cool. Shout outs to My Chem. Shout outs to My Chem if you want to, come on. That'd be great. I would fucking cry, but it'd be great. The next question, guys, the last one. I've been asking a lot of bands this to kind of close out the interview, which is people who have made it this far, thank you for watching. Much love to you. But the second thing is what do you want people to take away from Neptune Rain, whether it be lyrically or musically or a combination of the two? You know, people who are listening and are like, yo, these guys are super down to earth. We love, I love them already. I want to kind of like be more involved in what they do, like whether it be personally or musically or something like that. What do you want people to take away from this interview or in your band in general?
I mean, I think throughout our music, mental health and the belief in a better world and that kind of clinging on to hope kind of vibes and not feeling alone, I think is something the three of us all massively relate to. And I think especially over the last year, I think that stuff has just been so important. It's always important, maybe especially over the last year. So we just like to people to take away that never give up, keep going, and if you ever want to reach out, we're here. We're always up for a laugh and just to chat and be kind. What would you guys say?
I mean, you took the words out of my mouth there. That's exactly it. It's we've always been that's been our sort of ethos, is like positivity, but also realizing that life is hard sometimes, and especially right now. And yeah, just keep fighting. If you're in a tough place, keep fighting. Reach out if you do need help, because it's so important.
I guess, yeah, things can get difficult, but there are absolute dorks like us out there.
Yeah.
I feel the same way. I am an absolute dork on the internet, and you guys get to do this once. I have to do this for however many other years I'm going to be doing this for. So I'll continue to be a dork on the internet. Lastly, guys, the most important thing, tell them about where they can find you on social media, what you guys have coming up in the future, and anything else you'd like to plug, talk about, things of that nature.
So website is weareneptunerain.com, and that's kind of first point of call. But Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, there are kind of three big platforms. I think YouTube /Neptune Rain now, because we've hit the right subscriber mark. Hey,
finally, yeah.
Bunch of random letters. And Facebook and Instagram, it's We Are Neptune Rain.
Yeah, also on Twitter as well, if you follow us there. So that's my one. I'm in command of that.
Yeah, and all the music's on all the major streaming platforms. The new single "We Breathe the Same" has just come out. There's more music on the way over the next couple of months, and we've got a music video on the way as well, made by an American filmmaker as well, and we're really excited about that coming up.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool.
Yeah, he's got some really cool ideas.
Yeah, the cinematography is beautiful.
There we go. Well, again, shoutouts to Jody for hooking this up. She is great. I hope to have more of her artists on, because you guys are the first Jody artist. So shoutouts to you. But go check out Neptune Rain. I will leave all the links in the description where you can find out about them, their music. I'll leave a link to their latest single, so you can go watch that, go listen to it, go check it out, go give them more than 1,000 streams. Let's do this. We can make it happen. Also, if you want to add people on Twitter, you got to add Evanescence. We're going to add Jay-Z. We're going to add Matt Bellamy of Muse, or just Muse generally. If you want to tag me in it, if we want to add Skittles, listen, we're gonna cover it all under a blanket tweet, subtweet too, So if you want to make that happen, make sure to go follow them on Twitter. If you would like to tag us, that would be great as well. We'd love to get in on the fun as well too. So please go do that. And if you enjoy this content, make sure to share, like, subscribe. I feel like a YouTuber and asking for your support, but if you don't ask for it, probably won't get it. So please subscribe, share it. It means a lot. Like it. And huge thanks to Neptune Rain for coming on, and thank you for letting me be your first international interviewer person. That is fantastic.
Thank you for having us, man. It's been awesome. It's been great fun.
Yeah, I've had a load of fun. It's been cool.
Yeah, thanks, man. It's cool.